Thank you. I'm going to take a step back because right now, Diana's been living in Orchard Commons for 7 months, and I pinch myself every day that this has happened for her. But I'm going to take a step back into her early life and how we got to the point where she was ready to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity that came along. And going not too far back, about 4 years ago, my husband and I wanted to spend a weekend down on the Jersey Shore. And I approached a neighbor who is about 80 years old and asked if Diana, after returning from one of her 4 jobs, would be able to sleep there at night so that we would feel that she was safe. And I'm not often challenged like this, but she said to me, why can't she sleep in her own house alone? What's going to happen? And I thought about it, and I said, most of the time I had gotten from other parents or observers, you're letting Diana do that. But in this case, she challenged me, and I took her up on the challenge, and that was when I realized that what a pediatric geneticist had predicted many, many years ago, that Diana would live independently, was really going to be a reality, and probably in the short term. I worked as a parent advocate for SPAN, the Statewide Parent Advocacy Network, for 10 years, and it was there that I learned so much from the other, at that point, women who were working at SPAN, who are all wonderful advocates for their children. And there I learned how to express Diana's needs, our needs, in an assertive but not an aggressive manner. And my commitment to taking part in the SPAN training and then helping others with that training really was a big force in my life in accessing services for Diana, because every day that I went to work for SPAN was a day that I learned something new that would be available to Diana. The other wonderful thing in our lives is that our district, our school district, in addition to addressing transition in Diana's IEP, which is put into place in the IEP when a student is 14, also hired a transition coordinator. And that led to neighborhood internships and jobs. And some of Diana's jobs started as internships, but then when an employer could see what she was able to do and contribute to their organization, that led to a paid job. There were some innovative things that happened with that. In going to one of the jobs, I wanted Diana to be able to get there herself, and there's a pharmacy on the corner of a major intersection in our village. And I went in and approached the pharmacist who I knew and said, at this particular time, once a week, could you help Diana cross the intersection? And I said, it doesn't have to be you. It could be a customer in the store, and she has plenty of time. It's not a time constraint thing. As you become free. He agreed to that, and that was just something where the community supported Diana in getting to the employment and opportunities within town. When she started high school, she was entitled to have a bus take her to the high school, which was within a half a mile of our home, and I instead advocated for a crossing guard at the dangerous intersection so that she would have the experience of walking to school with the other students who were getting to school the same way, walking there. And that, all of that was starting travel training, getting her ready to be able to access transportation to jobs as she grew into that. So through the transition program at the high school, she was introduced to Access Link, which she used extensively to get to her jobs before moving to Allendale. Allendale is not served by Access Link, and that's one of the major obstacles right now to where she's living, but we're working on that. Some of the travel training that I did with her was when she was going to a job and maybe it was after school hours and there was not the travel training support available from the high school or the school she attended after high school, I gave her a family radio, and she got on the bus and I was in the car right behind her, and we were communicating on the family radio. So maybe the first trip I was on the bus with her, the second trip was communicating with her with family radio. The third trip I was just behind the bus, And the fourth trip, she didn't know I was there, but I watched from a side street as the bus let her off at the bus stop and then blocked the traffic so she could cross the street. So she had already established a relationship with the driver and knew, and he went that extra mile and got recognized for it. So that as a parent, it was always important to recognize the people in the community, in the town, in their jobs that were going that extra mile to help her out to achieve independence. We didn't wait necessarily for the community to come to Diana. Very often, we went out and engaged the community. Diana volunteers, when she was living with us at home, volunteered at her church and won a leadership award for doing so. She participated in the Village's Access for All Committee and gave a testimonial at the Access for All weekend, where she described the things that she did and the successes that she's had. She's taken advantage of taking Excel classes at the library, cooking classes at the supermarkets. She's volunteered at a children's cooking class in town, and in high school participated in the ZECA program. In the high school, Diana was not only included in classes, but she also was included in the activities after class. And that was so important because the people that she interacted with in school are now the employers 10 years later that she's now approaching for a job or for community services. Our focus has always been, since she was little, what happens when my husband and I can't. And I've had to step back and say, not that I don't want to do something, but I won't do that for her because at that time, it's a better choice for Diana's independence. So it's also created now a better relationship with Diana's siblings because they see that she's independent and that she's not as dependent on my husband and I. And we just want them to view Diana as maybe a responsibility after we're gone, but certainly not a burden. And of course, with the availability of Allendale Orchard Commons, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. Diana has achieved heights that I never thought were possible. She's become a problem solver. She's very often now reporting to me on how the process she went about to solve a problem rather than coming to me with the problem and saying, what should I do? I was very proud a week and a half ago when she hosted Mother's Day at her apartment, and I mean, we helped, we catered, but but
my dad, brother, and sister. My mom had no idea, so I was surprised her. Especially my Grammy, who loves my apartment very much.
The beauty of the apartment, my mother as a senior citizen would love to live there. They're just beautiful, beautiful apartments and a wonderful sense of community. There's 12 residents that live there, and I'll let Diana take it from there to describe a little bit of her living situation and the supports that she has.
Well, before I mention about my apartment, the day that I moved in actually, it was actually the same day that my sister got her master's in France.
Yes, October 1st.
Yes. Right now I live in a garden apartment with other women and also other guys too, but separately. It's a group of 6 apartments. My rent is based on my own salary from my 4 jobs. My support comes from private pay for a few hours per week and also through Medicaid. I have a home health aide. Each of the 12 residents has custom designed support to meet his or her needs. I recently reduced my Medicaid hours as I've learned a lot in 7 months. My home is not a group home. It's a group of homes. My biggest challenge right now is transportation, especially going to work, obviously, especially with the train. Yes, of course. And especially sometimes it's hard to get into the cabinets, and I'm mostly asking for help. But ever since my birthday / housewarming party, I actually got a stool. So now that's my biggest thing. But the experience for living in my apartment, which is independence, freedom, I don't have to rely on my parents, of course. I get out of their hair, finally. Now that I rely on myself, especially that I have a boyfriend named Matthew Arnold. I also cook for myself. I also live with a roommate. Her name is Ursula. We also have a social worker, excuse me, Janae, and also Sherry, which Tom Toronto explained before about the Madeline Corporation. I also celebrate holidays there too, as well, like Christmas. I also celebrate Hanukkah because my boyfriend is Jewish. And that I'm living close with him and also with other residents, because we're all a community. So, I have siblings who went to college, but I never did because I had a job when I was in high school, actually. The Gap is one of them, and ECLC, and also 2 other jobs as well. And because of that, I didn't go, but Orchard Commons is a dream come true. It's a blessing, and I've been there for 7 months. But the lessons that I have learned is that I'm able to take the train from station to station. Actually, one time I went to a holiday party in Hawthorne, I've been asked, and both my boyfriend and I took the train together. And I can't really explain about my child training, my transition program in high school, because my mom explained that. I also have social gatherings, like I have girls' nights in the apartment, which is really nice. So thank you.